What is going on YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, bringing you another episode of CM Strats, and today we are jumping back into the NU tier to take a look at the Serperior set that I usually run. There's a couple that I like to use, but this is the one that I've used most often on the channel, and it's a coil set, so we'll be going over all of the specifics as far as what moves and nature and all that stuff that I like to run. But before we do that, before we get started, if you guys can, if you'd like to show some support to the channel and the series and all that good stuff, which I hope that you do, I would sincerely hope that you do, all you gotta do is click that thumbs up button right below this video. It does help out more than you know. And of course, go ahead and write a comment in the comment section below too. I mean, if you would like. If you would like. I'm not commanding you, I'm asking you. Guys, write a comment. Whatever you have on your mind, whatever you feel about the sets. Tell me how you run your Serperior. Maybe give me some different ideas. Write a suggestion for a Pokemon that you want to see on this series in the future. That's something that I keep forgetting to mention in these videos, is that if you guys want to see specific Pokemon that I use and you want to see the details of it, put it in the comment section below, because if I start seeing that name a lot, I'll be sure to get to those. Now with that being said, let's just jump right in here. We have Serperior, pure grass type, and it's got base 113 speed, which is kind of an awkward speed tier, but it means that if you're running max speed and Jolly, that you can outspeed base 110s that are also running positive speed natures, and then actually base 115s as well if they are running adamant or modest or non-positive speed natures. So with that being said, the natures here, you can run adamant or Jolly. I just went over kind of what the point of Jolly is, but if you prefer to have more power behind your Leaf Blades and just your attacks in general, even though we have Coil as a boosting move, adamant can still work if you don't really care about outspeeding base 110s with positive natures such as Tauros, etc. Now as for the EVs, very, very standard, 252 speed, 252 attack, 4 HP, nothing fancy here. You can opt for a bulkier spread if you want, and if you do that, I suggest you replace one of the moves below with Dragon Tail, because Dragon Tail works a little bit better as a bulkier Pokemon, and it takes you a little bit longer to coil up as well. So if you need to phase out some Pokemon, because Pokemon might come in and start trying to set up all kinds of nastiness in your face, like Swords Dances and Dragon Dances and Nasty Plots, Calm Minds, any of those shenanigans, you want to Dragon Tail those away if you are running more HP and less speed, etc, etc, etc. As for the item, there are a couple things that you can run. Lefties works fantastic because that passive recovery does mean a lot to Serperior, because you're not getting any recovery from anywhere else. Serperior has no way to recover his HP, no reliable recovery move. You could use a rest, but then you probably have to use either a Chesto Berry or Sleep Talk, which I personally don't feel like works too well for this set, because pure grass typing is just, there's too many weaknesses to try to run a Rest Talk set. So lefties works great. Another item that works fantastic on this set is a Lumberry, because once your opponent sees you're setting up coils and trying to boost your attack, a lot of times, especially if they have something like Rotom, they're going to try to burn you. Will-O-Wisp will be a big thing, so having a Lumberry to get rid of that and get another, either a turn of setup or a turn of damage off, could really help you out, because chances are you're going to be outspeeding most defensive Pokemon and even a lot of offensive Pokemon with that base 113 speed. Now, the reason that we have Coil in the first place is because Serperior doesn't have the best offensive stats. I believe its attack and special attack are both base 75. So you have some nice natural bulk in your defenses. But you kind of need something to boost your attack power if you're going to be doing any kinds of damage. And that's why a lot of people love to run, especially this gen, they love to run the dual screen set, which works fantastic. You can run Light Clay, you can invest in your HP and your speed, and then you've got good natural bulk on both sides. It's a whole nice set, but that's something different. I'm going too far off the grid here. Let's take a look at the ability. It's going to be Overgrowth. Some people mentioned in one of my previous videos that I should be running Contrary on Serperior, except, I mean, that would be great, except that it's illegal, so no, we're not running Contrary. Overgrow is the only ability that you can use, and it does boost the power of Leaf Blade when you're in a pinch. So when you're below 1/3 of your max HP, Leaf Blade is going to be doing a butt ton of damage. And with that being said, Leaf Blade is the primary stab move. It's a very poorly distributed move at that. 90 base power with 100% accuracy and a higher than normal chance to get a critical hit, which is always nice and can help you score some KOs on some more defensive Pokemon. Now, as for the coverage moves, they're kind of up in the air. Like I said, if you were running a bulkier spread and you decided to invest more in your HP as opposed to your speed or your attack, whatever you sacrifice for the bulk, Dragon Tail is a great move to be running here. And Aqua Tail, I believe Aqua Tail is a 5th gen move. So if you're breeding in Kalos, Dragon Tail might be an option that you might want to look at. The knockoff is as well. So I am running the knockoff, or not the knockoff. We didn't get there yet. We're still number 2. I am running the Aqua Tail because Fire types love to come in on Serperior expecting a Leaf Blade. If you can nail them with an Aqua Tail, it's going to hurt, especially if you have a Coil or 2 or 3 up. Sometimes you're even going to one-shot them. So Aqua Tail is a fantastic move to carry on Mr. Serperior. Now, what else was I going to say? I was going to mention something else. Ah, yes, Coil also increases your accuracy, so that means that Aqua Tail, despite its 90% accuracy and its tendency to miss in really important situations, it's not going to miss after you get at least 1 Coil up, so you're good there. Now, as for the 3rd coverage move, I like to run Knockoff because in the lower tiers, Psychic types are kind of all over the place, and with the Steel nerf this generation, Dark type offensive moves in general are just really good. Plus, we have the added utility of being able to knock off items, so you can knock off Choice Scarfs that might be trying to come in to revenge kill you, that kind of thing. And you're not locked into a move. It's not like you are choiced into anything. You have your lefties, so you're getting some passive recovery, and you can choose, pick and choose your moves as you go. Now, with that being said, special attackers that have super effective moves, such as Ice types, such as Fire types, they can really pose a threat, and more so Ice types because you have the Aqua Tail for the Fire types, and in most cases you're going to be outspeeding whatever the threat is anyway. So actually, in fact, one of the bigger threats that I've seen to this Serperior set is Tangrowth, and Tangrowth is not in NU, Tangela is, but if you're using this in a higher tier, because I think this works great in RU and UU even. But Tangrowth is kind of a problem because you can't really hit it with anything except for knockoff. It resists Leaf Blade and Aqua Tail, so you're not going to be doing much with that. It's just, it's a problem. It really doesn't matter how many coils you get up, you're not going to be able to break it, and it has the Regenerator, and it can knock off your lefties, and it can just do all kinds of things. If it's carrying Toxic, it's just going to flat out beat you, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I do recommend bringing something, especially if you're in RU or higher, bring something that can handle Tangrowth. Special attacking Fire types and or Ice types work great for this. So, I mean, even if you were in UU and you're bringing an Arcanine, defensive Arcanine that has Flamethrower, that would work fine. It's not going to one-shot Tangrowth, but you just need to bring something that can handle it. Also, just in general, aside from Tangrowth, you need something that can handle defensive walls. It doesn't really matter what it is. Any kind of special attacker, doesn't have to be a booster. You can bring a Nasty Plot user, you can bring a Calm Mind user, or you can just bring something that has a Life Orb. Like, if you're using this in UU, you can bring a Life Orb Alakazam, or Focus Sash even. Just something that can break down the walls that your opponent would want to switch in on these boosted physical attacks. So that's pretty much that. Also, something that can handle flying types works out well also, because your main stab obviously is resisted by them, and you can't do a whole lot. You can knock off their item, and you sometimes can two-shot them with an Aqua Tail, but if they come in for free, you're not going to want to take Breed Birds, even if you have a couple of coils up. You're just not going to want to do that. It's not something you want to do. Also, in the lower tiers, beware of Will-O-Wisp Sableye, because you do not want to get burned, and that's another reason why Lumberry can work fairly well on this set, because, I mean, you want to get rid of Sableye. If you have quite a few of coil boosts when it comes in, you can afford to stay in and go for a Leaf Blade and potentially KO it as it tries to Willow you, and I mean, it may miss after all, but if it connects, you have the Lumberry to fall back on. Personally, I usually choose the lefties because I prefer that passive recovery, but that's just me. That is just my thing. So we didn't even really go over Coil, but it also, in addition to increasing your attack and your accuracy, it actually boosts your defense as well. So another move that you could want to run on this is Substitute, because as you get more and more coils up, it's going to be harder and harder for your opponent to break your subs if they only have physical attackers left, which is why if you're doing a 6v6 battle, you're not on battle spot or anything, holding on to the Serperior until you eliminate special attackers on your opponent's team really could just end up in a sweep. Honestly, that's like the perfect condition for Serperior to come in, start setting up subs and coils, and your opponent just eventually won't be able to break it. Will not be able to break it. If you're using this in RU or above, or a mixed tier match or whatever, Golbat can be a problem if you're running Substitute because it has Infiltrator, and it can very easily just drop a Toxic. And while you can knock off its Eviolite, Leaf Blade is still a 4 times resisted move on Golbat, so it's not like you're going to be doing that much. You're going to have to go for Aqua Tails after the first knockoff, because then the power would drop. So it's a whole big thing. So all in all, using this Serperior, it can be kind of tricky because grass typing is not the best. It doesn't have the best coverage in the world. And special attackers kind of do just poop on it. So it does need some support to work, but if you have the right support on your team, they can handle the physical walls, they can handle things like Golbat and Tangrowth, those kinds of things, you can really see a lot of success with this. And in fact, there's a video on my channel, I have to try to find it and put it in the description below. Hopefully I found it by the time this video goes up, but I brought this set, one of the first times I brought this set to a Battle Spot Live episode, it defeated a Gliscor and a Talonflame back-to-back by setting up coils. And I forget if the Gliscor just didn't have Toxic or what it was, or if we just two-shotted it with Aqua Tail, but it was fantastic. It was taking super effective moves that were physical coming off the Talonflame, and it took on the Gliscor as well. Aqua Tail really just pooped on both of them. So it works. It definitely works. It just needs the right kind of support. And honestly, those are the Pokemon that I like to use, because why not? Why not? I really have to try a light clay set with the dual screens. I haven't tried that this gen. I used it a little bit last gen, not too much. I just kind of like fiddled around with it a little bit. I want to try to use it again this gen, but for now, this is the set that I wanted to share with you guys. And next time, I think we're going to jump into the UU tier. I don't know if I've done one that's been UU. No, Blastoise was. I did the Assault Vest Blastoise, that was the first episode. We haven't done UU since, and a lot of people have been asking for Frank the Arcanine, so that'll be the next video. And after that, I don't know, but make sure you guys are leaving your suggestions in the comment section below. What of my Pokemon would you like to see? You know, what would you like to see me go over and talk about, and give some insight on? Whatever you guys want to see, I'll be more than happy to go into it. All you got to do is, you can tweet at me too. My Twitter link is always in the description below, so if you guys have questions or if you want to make a suggestion or whatever, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, because I respond to all the tweets except for the people that constantly spam me for battle requests, because that's a different story. But that is going to be it for this time, so I want to thank you all for watching, as always, and I will see you for the next episode. But until then, game on.